Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, ALEGRIA. Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Naked on the screen. That made you look, didn't it? No, I didn't have my graphics. You see, that's better, isn't it? But then we lose the on-air light. So let me do a bit of a jiggery-pokery. And you might think to yourself, Carl, why didn't you do this earlier on before you started the show? Well, because it's been a very busy morning here at Casa Monson. It is Mrs. M's, Luisa's birthday this morning. She is having a significant birthday today. And I don't know, gosh, look at the state of this studio as well. A big pile of papers in the background. It's like a lawyer's office in here. Dear, oh dear. What is that? Goodness gracious. It'll all be changed by the new year. That's one of my resolutions. We'll have a different broadcasting setup by the 2nd of January. Actually, I think we'll be at the Storytellers Hotel on the 2nd of January. So that is a very different broadcasting setup. Why don't I just move in there, actually? That'd be quite a good dream sequence to cut away to, wouldn't it? Living in the presidential suite of the Storytellers Palace in San Martino de Porto, broadcasting from that lovely room, the best room in the Bay. Actually, I took Astrid and Jerry of Expats Portugal up there the other day, and yeah, that's just what came out of my mouth. This is the best room in town, with its little terrace looking out over the bay, where you can go up and on top there, where you've got your own hot tub. And you've got your main room, your suite downstairs. Excuse me a minute. Oh, that's some of the prawn, smoked salmon, scrambled egg, or something that's gone. We've done all of that this morning. And by the way, anyway, where was I? Storytellers Palace, yeah, presidential suite. If you're looking for a lovely treat and you want to have the most amazing, luxurious experience, you'll go into the suite part of the presidential suite, and then you'll see there's a panel, and you think, a panel, what's that about? And you push on the panel, and there's a spiral staircase to the terrace upstairs, where there's a little conservatory room where you can sit with your wood-burning stove, which you might crank up at this time of year, and step out through the conservatory doors onto the balcony, and you've got your hot tub there and a view out over the bay. We'll be broadcasting from the Storytellers Palace in the new year. Anyway, that's why I mentioned that. And yes, on this day, this is quite the birthday present then, 20th of December, 1999. Portugal handed over Macau to China with a little bow on it after 442 years of Portuguese rule. I wonder what that was like. I'd love to see some 1999 footage. I bet the Macauians, if that's what the Portuguese call them, partied like it was 1999. Or did they? Or was it like, we're quite happy with the Portuguese, actually. This is going fine. It's really easy going, nice relationship in this gambler's paradise here. We are now being handed back to the Chinese. I wonder what that was like. I wonder if there's anyone here with a first-hand experience of that, or a close to first-hand experience of that. And of course, yes, thank you, Antonio. I do love your This Day in History prompts there. So that was 1999, 442 years of Portuguese rule. That's quite amazing, isn't it? I'd be quite happy to achieve that myself, 442 days of Portuguese rule. Years, not days. I've had nearly, just over 7. Is it 7 or is it? 7 years of Portuguese rule. It's going fairly well, got to say. Morning, Pam. And thank you for that greeting there. I'll pass that on to Mrs. M. Thanks, Antonio. She's having a great day so far. I've bought her, I was going to say a chair. It's actually a throne. It's behind me now. The cat hasn't destroyed it yet. But we've only had it, a few hours. So there's time. Before the end of the day, I imagine there'll be some of those heart-sinking threads hanging out of the corner of the chair where the cat has decided to use it as a scratching post. But it's Mrs. M's throne. She is a queen. She is a witch in a good sense, and she has to have a cat, and the cat needs to exercise sometimes. And if not on a tree, then on her, possibly on her new chair. Who's in this morning? Who's joining me today? Coach Turner. joining me. Oh, I'm sending the invite over to Mr. O'Reilly as well. If in his busy schedule he can drop in and see us for the final time of the year, because let's have a look at the. Let me just send him a quick message there. Love from the Gumpers. Then, if you can pop in, so a little smiley emoji there. There you go. That's gone off to Mr. O'Reilly if he wants to pop in and see us. I'm sure we'll see more of him in the new year. He's been busy with a very big project, which I'm sure comes as no surprise to you, and we will find out about it in due course, of course. And if you'd like to join me on the screen today, let me put the link in the chat as well. Main event, our VIP of the day is Coach Turner, who's going to help us, of course, from his usual God Squad angle to get us set up for the new year. But if there's something you'd like to say, if you'd like to say it on screen, keep it upbeat and positive. Please don't come on and moan. We're not going to be doing that next year. I think we can all be mentors, and we can all be accountable to each other, can't we? If it ever goes to the dark side, which it can, of course, we can remind each other. There's lots of places to do that on the internet. The Good Morning Portugal show is not one of them. And of course, we don't want to be Pollyanna virtue signaling, rainbow farts and unicorns all the time. But I think we can look for the brighter side and the lighter side of life and share that with you here from a Portuguese perspective every morning. That's what I intend to do as a main thrust of the GMP 2025. Who doesn't like a main thrust first thing in the morning? I shan't be giving that up either. And I suspect smutty innuendo is only going to get me and people of a certain age into more and more trouble, possibly in the new year. Let's see how that goes. We'll be keeping a close eye on that, as of course will the I don't know who they are really. The guardians of moral virtue will be keeping an eye on that. Like as Tamaka Tan says, I shared that joke with you. He says some near the knuckle things in his comedy, and he says we're wild. We are essentially wild. And we can be friendly. That combination I love. Wild and friendly. And I see you, Gumpers. That is you, isn't it? And I know you're wearing slippers and you like to wear a few layers and you like to keep warm and you might groan as you get out of the chair. But I know underneath all of that, you're wild and friendly. Dog's going mad outside. Jimmy, what's the matter with you? It's okay. Good boy. Good job. Taking care of the boundary. Bom dia, Portugal, and feliz aniversario to Luisa from João Ernesto. I really have to shout at the dog now. Bear with me. Anyone who could lip read there could see that I was shouting in no uncertain terms at the dog. Jimmy Chu. Bom dia todos is Coach Turner's message. Yay, Carl. I will be putting the sex into sexta-feira. Promises. Mind your back, Ian. This morning, weather here in the... that sounds like a promise and a threat. Weather here in the UK is clear and crisp. Sun's just peeping over the horizon. Beautiful words there. Ana bom dia todos e feliz sexta. Great. We'll see you soon. And you can voice your own. Hey, we've got that video. I might play the video before you arrive, Coach T. James is here, Bom dia Gumpers, no doubt with a new old guy in Europe video, and kudos and compliments on that from Veronica. Yeah, it was only yesterday. Okay, thank Feito, you say, and your Christmas message you sent out, you shared with a few of us as well. Thank you for that, James. Antonio with a bon dia. Oh, a Christmas fly in the studio. Wouldn't be Christmas without a Christmas fly, would it? Bon dia, Tosh. I've got a present for you, my friend, in just a minute. Where's my electric tennis racket? You're gonna get a more noble birth. Let's hope you have a Buddhistic end this morning, young fly. Bon dia, Tosh. Boa sexta-feira. Look at you with your capitals there, Antonio. See what you did there. T-Duck, Bom dia, ALEGRIA Gumpers. It's Friday. Yes, it's that Feel Good Friday feeling this morning. And not a Philomena Feel Good Friday. However, last night, great job, Philomena, on the Christmas quiz for Expats Portugal. Where did I save that slide to? It's not that one. Yes, it is that one. Hold on a minute. Portuguese language and culture with Philomena. Okay, the Christmas one. This is what we did last night, or this is what Philomena did. I was just able to enjoy it and soak up loads more Portuguese. Well, a festively themed Christmas language and culture insight with Philomena last night. It was superb. She did a quiz for us. Now, normally Jerry does the quiz and I ask the questions. Philomena did the quiz and asked the questions. Now, when Jerry does the quiz, his own quiz, he normally gets about 80 or 90%. Whereas he got a very low score last night because Philomena was in charge of the quiz, and very educational it was too. Look, and there's Santa jumping on too. Isn't that the picture of modern Portugal? It says Wi-Fi on the front of an ancient 28 tram, and Santa's jumping on there. That's a great little snapshot of Portuguese life right now. So thanks, Philomena. That will be up on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel. I do recommend you watch it, if only to discover things that I learned a lot last night. Now, where's this other picture I want to share with you? This is, did you know? Oh, okay, Bobby, good to see you, mate. We will see you in the new year. We'll see you in the new year. I have this image here. Do you know what a consoado is? Now, even when you do know what it is, it's quite a weird one, really, because when you look for a translation, and I did fess up to Philomena last night, that I did look it up on Google Translate while the quiz was going on. I mean, there weren't any ground rules set out. I think it was like one of those open book examinations, really. And at some points, I was sweating. It was only a flipping Christmas quiz. Hi, Coach Turner. See you soon. It was only a Christmas quiz, but suddenly the pressure was on to understand things in Portuguese, this being one of them. Consoado is well, that was one of the questions. That is the name for your Christmas dinner, the consoado. And translating it, cheating with Google Translate is of no help at all. Why on earth, can you help us with this? Why on earth would the Portuguese call their Christmas dinner the consonant? It's like festive countdown. Vowel, please. Consonant, please. Vowel, please. Consonant, please. Consoado means consonant. So there's no obvious translation of that, or why they would do that. I think it's Latin Catholic, probably in its origins, isn't it? But there you go. That was one of the questions, giving the game away on one of the answers from last night. Great job, Philomena. Right, I think what I'll do now is download Coach's, because we had these fantastic suggestions from the coach, didn't we, last week? And we've got the video to play. Actually, it's quite a long video. I'll ask him. I'll see what he thinks about this, because it's quite a long video. And it's a very necessary video to understand some of the contortions that he was suggesting to us, some of the bodily serving suggestions. That doesn't sound quite right. But anyway, they were contortions of the body to help you with your God Squad tips of the day most recently. In fact, what I'll do is let's catch up with him now and see where we were going with that, because this is going to see us into the new year. And we do welcome any declarations you would like to make. I outed Gilda last night on the Dream Team session that she had a private trainer. Are you doing something like that? Do you have some fitness goals for the new year? Do let us know in the chat, and we will do our utmost best to support you. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Coach Turner, everybody.
Morning.
How's it going, Ian? How's it going, Coach?
Yeah, very good. I'm looking out of the back window, and the sun is sort of up. It's really crispy outside. It's roofs are all shiny and white, and
yeah, like a lovely.
It's proper.
Yeah,
Christmas winter.
Crispy and Christmassy in the UK. How lovely!
Exactly.
And you are corporately, collectively girding your loins for the big gathering of the family, right?
Indeed, on Sunday, yeah. So tomorrow will be mostly spent preparing and cooking.
Right. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yes,
Lots
of course. A lot of preparation. 22 people. Do I remember rightly?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The whole, all my children, all my grandchildren, and my brother.
That's amazing. That's a really, really wonderful, truly festive occasion, isn't it? And I enjoyed your tips. Focus on the kids. Focus on the kids.
And keep it short.
Keep it brief.
Well,
right, okay.
you know, all of the kids have got sort of animals and things at home, so they have to get back for them. So that keeps it short anyway.
That's pretty good, isn't it? That's pretty good. Yeah, not all the animals. Not all the hamsters and fish are invited for the Christmas lunch there.
No.
That was one of the questions last night, actually. Philomena chucked that in. Do Portuguese people eat goldfish? And it was multiple choice, obviously, and that was not one of the right answers. Although the Polish do like a carp, don't they?
I was going to say, carp can make decent food. And yes, goldfish are just mini carp, aren't they?
They are. And I remember taking a Polish friend to the park in Korea where we lived. And it's a massive pond, one of the biggest in Europe, they say. and there was some really big carp in there. And this Polish guy was salivating, I'm sure, thinking of how delightful one of these would be on his Christmas plate.
I bet the herons are salivating too.
Yeah, they're absolutely huge and quite unguarded. Not like they don't think they're going to be eaten at any minute, which of course some creatures do in that semi-wild sort of situation. Right, that's us, semi-wild. We are balancing our wildness with our domestication here as Gumpers, aren't we? Along with the factors of what's the best way to put this? Aging, I suppose. Growing old disgracefully, as you put it, Ian.
Growing old disgracefully, indeed.
And another lovely year of well, thank you so much first and foremost for your continued service to the community. Every day you send something to us to help us in this regard, and so thank you for that.
Well, actually, it sort of was. I was thinking about it this morning while showering, and as you do.
Pictures, please, on 913-590-303.
No,
for some reason,
no video. And it struck me that it's one of my purposes. You know, we were talking about purpose yesterday.
Yeah.
And having a purpose. And you know, I guess for me, coaching is both a purpose and a social interaction. And I was coaching last night, and it's lovely seeing. We had a couple of girls we were coaching last night, and who were both really lovely. You know, they're both post-university, so finding their way in life. One's just bought a house at 24. You know,
wow!
How? Yeah, exactly that.
Yes.
And the other one is finding her way in work, and they're just delightful people, but keen to keep fit and run and get better. So, you know, they're a delight. The other guy I coach with, who is now I think 82, and you wouldn't think it to look at him. He's remarkable. He's out walking every day, always has done. I mean, little story about my mate John. He had earlier this year a growth taken off his chest. You know, I guess we're all prone to that occasionally. So he went and had a minor op at Barnet General Hospital. So he got the bus to Barnet General Hospital, and then he decided he was going to walk home. It's about 8 miles. So
82 years of age, a surgical procedure. I'll walk home. Thank you very much.
That's right. That is John. He's a stubborn old soul. I love him to bits. So. And
did he do that? He actually did that as well.
He walked home. I mean, he walks 5 miles a day, so you know it wasn't much. But having had an op, you'd have thought, you know, I'll get a taxi or someone to pick me up, or
a day off from that schedule. Well, I mean, what a great example.
He is a bit of a ledge,
and an inspiring person to be around.
Yeah. Oh, for me. I mean, you know, when I first knew him, we were both members of a running club, and he organised athletics meetings and things like that. He was quite the organizer, but he's not the most sociable of people, and you know, he's just one of those.
That's interesting. Yes.
Yeah, but he's been a very successful coach, and you know, he's a good mate. Now, I realise we've been coaching together for 30 years.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
It's just a long while. But he's
and
a
I
lovely
was
guy.
For a moment, how you're there, you know, socially at two parts of the spectrum. You know, being in your early 20s. I mean, when we were kids, being in your 20s really looked like you were going to be an adult, didn't it? By the time you got to 20, you thought you were proper grown up. But now when I look at 20-year-olds, I think they're like kids, really, aren't they? They're still kids. And what a world to be in. These young people you're talking about, they're up against it, aren't they, in so many ways? And they want to keep fit, and they're buying houses. What's it looking like for people of their age, from your point of view?
Well, I guess the closest, I mean, you know, clearly I know them, and one of them's finding her way in a good way. She's got a lovely boyfriend. They're buying the house together. He's actually French from Dunkirk. Wow. But I think he came into some money a little while ago, and they've used it as the deposit for their house. So
good for them.
Going. And this is a house not that far from London, so it's not going to be a cheap one.
Well done there.
It's just done remarkably. But she works in a good job. She's being paid well, and I think she has family that have helped somewhat.
Yeah, well, you've got to have that, haven't you, as a 20-year-old these days?
You do. I mean, we've helped certainly most of mine at one time or another to get started, and I guess they're 40. I mean, they're still finding their way too.
As 40-year-olds, maybe that's.
I don't think you ever stopped, do you?
Well, that's it, isn't it? Like T-Duck says, don't grow up; it's a trap. We always think the next bit is going to be the growing up bit, but I guess what we're all finding out perhaps is maybe that never happens.
Yeah, no, I hope not.
Okay, all right, you're going to help us with that then, and many of us are thinking about. Well, I've chosen it anyway as one of the goals for next year, and we want to do more Portuguese language learning and more. I think we're pretty good on the culture. I think we're very inspired and kind of conscientious when it comes to learning more about the culture, which is easier than learning the language.
That's why we love it.
Yes,
that is why we love it. I mean, next year I see for us a couple of big steps. We're doing a bit of a tour in February, and it looks like I'm going to be able to come and join your party.
See you at the party, yes.
Yeah. So that'll be good. So you'll see my moves.
And you're singing, I hope, singing and dancing. Fantastic.
Yeah, dancing definitely.
And keep the stepometer going, because I think dance steps are also included in your daily step count, aren't they?
Totally.
Yeah,
absolutely. Fair enough. And if you're snapping a few real moves, they're probably worth more than the average walking step.
Possibly sort of fartlek on the dance floor.
Fartlek on the dance floor.
We won't be advertising that specifically.
Better than murder on the dance floor.
Absolutely. And we'll have maybe we need St. John's ambulance standing by as well, just in case people do get too excited on the dance floor. But I'm so glad to hear that. So a couple of big steps for you. What Portugal-wise?
Portugal-wise. So that's a bit of a tour, and I think we're starting in Setúbal, and I suspect that's where we might want to spend a lot more time, particularly this time of year.
Yes.
Clearly we're limited. There's no way we can do the visa thing at the moment. Too many commitments here because effectively will mean we have to spend 8 months in Portugal.
Yes.
And I don't think we can find a way of doing that and have children, grandchildren.
Yeah, no, I understood.
Leslie's mum still around. Healthy.
Enough.
All of those things.
You'll be finding your way though.
Finding somewhere to rent for 6 months a year in the winter seems a way forward. I still don't persuade Mrs. T.
Well, it can be like that sometimes, and other people have been through the process, of course, of encouraging a partner. So there is that sort of intel available in our community. Fabrizio and Ian, by the way, have moved from out of town in the capital to Setúbal as well. So they're on your doorstep. Should you want to call on them?
Yeah. I even know where they were staying when they were down there last, or roughly in the rough area.
Right.
I've been looking at possible rentals up in that little bit.
Very good. I'm sure they'd be happy to help. Well, that's one of our priorities for next year. Portuguese language and culture. We're going to raise the game a little bit on the language, and it's great to see Portuguese being spoken in our chat. This is quite a new thing, really. This level of Portuguese. So well done, Mr. S.
I don't understand much of it.
No, and it's like watching telly when you're abroad almost, isn't it, or something like that. But thank you, Mr. S, for keeping that flag flying. Pete as well, Antonio F helping us out. Of course we have Philomena, but we're going to raise that game. Philomena did tell us what Consoado is last week. You weren't here. I just need to rub it in. I know I wasn't here this time last week. What a mess that was. But anyway, priority 1, Portuguese language and culture, raising that game. Fitness and well-being. So I'm broadening it. The work you've done is amazing. And I'm glad it works for you as well, that it's part of your purpose in life, as you were describing. And we'll broaden it. I think we'll have a little team approach of the physical, the mental, the spiritual. So that's another priority. And laughing more, which I think is always a good thing. So that, we'll take
always good.
Yes, the best medicine. We'll have a bit more of that next year as well, because I think we'll need it. It's going to be an interesting and dynamic year in the world, of course. But you're going to help us with this, with the fitness side. And can we just retrace our steps as it were, pardon the pun, this week. Your particular theme then for this week, Coach?
Well, yeah, it was really interesting. I picked up on this survey or study that had been done by a large physiotherapy group.
Yeah.
Who look, they have thousands and thousands of clients, and they looked at the healthiest 1% of their clients, which is about 1,000 of them. So that tells you how big the practice is. And the common themes that these people had. And if you sort of think back, Carl, to when we started doing videos, and it must be nearly 4 years ago.
That? When I was running on the beach in my underpants?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And I was trying to sort of distill what you need to do, and I came up with these three, the speed, the strength, and the stamina thing, just as a way of consolidating and making it easy to remember.
Yeah.
And so much of that was encapsulated in this study, and I thought, oh, maybe I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Maybe I've found something.
Yes.
Yeah, but also the added ones, I think, are the mental side, and the social interaction, being aware of what you're eating, not, and that's what I've talked about this morning on the tip. Not getting too geeky about it, yes. But just being aware, and if things are going a bit awry, then make slight adjustments. And I think that's just being aware. It's what James goes on about, isn't it? I mean, just being aware.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, that's that. We have a multidisciplinary team, so I think we can work more on that next year, and we can support each other, because I think that's I mean, you've said that as part of it, isn't it? It's teamwork makes the dream work, and getting support, getting accountability are useful things. So I'm sure there are many more avenues we can discover in this department.
Well, I think the last one that I haven't talked about this week is having a positive attitude to life. Yes. So that's the laughing bit.
Well, I would like to think that is us, and that we will, be doubling down on that next year.
Well, and it's a great social. We socially interact, don't we? Every morning, and
yes,
it's a fantastic thing that you do for the community, Carl, because otherwise we kind of wouldn't know each other. I mean, I've already organised for Kadisha to come and see me when we're in Coimbra.
It's incredible.
So
she's this network,
Rebel Mama.
Yeah, Rebel Mama. Give her my love. And this one and the Expats Portugal network. When you stop to think about the tentacles, the social tentacles, as it were. Nice tentacles. Thank you, nurse. It's quite
don't crush them too hard. Yeah, cool.
It's like the degrees of separation and the connections people have made. And, we are social animals, so we don't have to think about it too much. But if you do stop and think about it, I mean, the friendships and network that has come from doing this is just incredible. So let's have more of that next year. Let's deepen those relationships, find more friends. I saw it very interesting. A lady. We'll come back to your tip of the day in just a moment. But I saw a very interesting post on one of the social media groups yesterday. Talking of being sociable, this lady, she says 29 cups of coffee /wine challenge until my birthday in January, because I think it's 20. Is it 20? No, it's not 29 days to go. I don't know why she's chosen 29, but she wants to meet 29 people face to face who will join me. That's quite an out there sort of suggestion, isn't it? Is to have a calendar like that and invite strangers to meet up and have a coffee or a wine. And why not? And I think as people get older, they're less bothered about that, right? Or do you think maybe more for them?
So I think they're less bothered, but it's probably more important.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Different factors at work.
Yeah, and it depends on your personality. I mean, some people like being on their own, don't they? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you do need, we are social animals. We do need some sort of form of interaction, even if it's just go I do, go to the coffee shop every day.
Or even just to remind yourself how annoying people are. You spend a bit of time with them and that's it. Job done for the day.
Yeah, I mean, I was up in town having lunch yesterday, and in London, for those that
Town up west,
colloquial,
yes.
It was fantastically busy round Leicester Square and Covent Garden, of course. I mean, it always is, but especially this time of year. And I don't deal with crowds very well these days. It never used to bother me, but I think it does these days. But it was nice seeing people out, happy, enjoying themselves. You know, lots of tourists taking photos and
Wonderful.
Christmas trees and things.
I'm really glad to hear that, because you get a certain view as a foreigner, as an expat, of the old place. And sometimes it's not the most favourable. So I'm really glad to hear that. Of course, people are having a fantastic time in the UK, as well as dealing with some of the struggles that are going on. Of course, they're having a great time, and what a beautiful country it is as well. So let's remember that.
Yeah. London is a fantastic city. When you and I grew up there, so
yes,
we're probably biased.
Do you know what happened yesterday? My middle daughter is in London. She lives in Italy normally, and she's in London yesterday with my granddaughter, and called me. So it made my day seeing them both in London. And I said, "Where are you?" And I was looking behind them, and it was like, wow, London. And in my mind, I've got, that there is that expat thing, isn't it? Oh, I'm glad I've got out of the old place. And I was taken by surprise. I was seeing live footage of London. I was excited to see it. And that, that bypassed my prejudices and my thought processes about it. And it's like, wow, this looks so exciting. And of course, seeing my daughter and granddaughter as well really, really helps. But yeah, it is what an amazing city it is. So yeah,
it is. We forget how wonderful it is, and it's part of being, I suppose, part of it is you take it for granted.
You do, and familiarity breeds contempt, of course, doesn't it? Now, exactly. I'm adding age to my list of amplifiers after that little bit of the conversation there. I think money and booze amplify people's personalities. That's quite evident, isn't it? Yeah. I think being a foreigner does that as well. The expat experience does that as well. People can be larger than life when they're away from their usual moorings.
That can be good and bad.
Yes. Yes. And I was going to say, you know who you are. The thing is, they don't know who they are. So that's the problem.
If they looked from the outside, they might be horrified.
Right. Let's not go into that right now. But age as well. Age is an amplifier from what you said. So, that perhaps the more sociable become even less inhibited, and the more inhibited or introverted people become more so. So it's so very interesting how age can amplify that, like those other things.
And we certainly become more grumpy.
Do you think so? Because Colin... I don't think
don't care.
I don't think Colin's going to mind me saying this, but he was telling me the other day. He said, "Oh, when I was young and I used to look at old blokes, I used to think, you miserable old sod, I'll never be like that." And guess what?
Yeah. Hey, Colin.
Yes, mate. So it's happened right in front of his eyes. The guy looking back from the mirror. Okay, God's got him of the day. Then we'll be talking about this a bit later. But in case I forgot, this study also identified this is the large but not obese study. Sorry, the large but not obese group. Yeah, that was great, James. They didn't calorie count. Okay. But they were aware of what they ate and drank and knew what worked for them. Did it stop them having naughty things? No, hell no. Just not every day. So this is, as you mentioned briefly there, this is the final part of this. Is it? This from the study is being aware but not being too hard on yourself.
Yeah, I think growing old disgracefully. I think it describes it really well.
Yes.
So go out, have a good drink, because that's important too. Yeah. Except for those that can't.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Well, I was talking to our athletes last night about what their nutrition's like, and because they want to get better, but they're never going to be Olympians. So, they don't have to be monastic about it. Yes. Well, perhaps that's wrong for women, is it? I don't know. Monastic. So because I female version. That's a complete tangent.
It is, but I don't get the same sense that being a nun is quite as self-flagellatory as being a monk can be.
I don't think we better go down that route.
I know, let's do.
But anyway, so they both will have chocolate and crisps and but they're just aware of what they're eating and don't do it very often.
Yeah,
So,
there you go. Yep. There's a reason that all things in moderation has been age-old wisdom there. So very good.
It is indeed.
Yep. Antonio reminding us to hit that like button, folks. Well, thank you. Well, thanks then, Coach. Anything else you want to add to that? What I'll do with the video of some of the stretches, I will put that up on the YouTube channel so people can see that. We'll have that as a reference.
It was a long one. My apologies.
Well, who doesn't like?
A long one first thing in the morning.
That will go with the treasury of other videos for people who want to partake of such things. And we encourage you to do so. These Gumpers have been very quiet this morning about what they intend to do in the new year. They often are, but there is time. However, what do you make? What's your experience as a coach of people who set these things up as New Year's resolutions? It's not always that successful, is it?
It's almost always not successful.
It's a complete guarantee.
Because you say, well, I'm going to exercise every day, or I'm going to do X, Y, Z every day, and I'm going to stop drinking, and they're always far too difficult to achieve,
right,
in the long term, I think. So making very small changes, I think, is the trick. Well, you found that, right? You went to a gym for a while, didn't you? But just maybe doing 10% more walking. How difficult can that be? And just be conscious of it, really. So that's kind of what I'd say is just do a bit more. Don't self-flagellate.
It's airporting, isn't it? Like announcing what you're going to do. That's a fairly easy bit of the process.
That's the very easy bit.
Yeah, and you can set yourself up with that. And I think there's more to it. I think support is, inspiration is really important. The sort of thing you do every day to give people an idea, something to work with. Someone to work with, I think, is very important. So, we can all help each other. I mean, it doesn't even have to be formal, does it? But someone who you buddy up with informally and say, look, you can be my I'm going to say you can be my step buddy. That sounds like my step parent or my step. But, somebody who's committed to doing so many steps a day, you could make that pact, couldn't you? Or agreement with somebody for a week or a month and just check in on each other and see how you're doing and set out on that together, which I think is very
as we said earlier in the week, 2 15-minute brisk walks a day, and you'll improve your fitness if you don't do that already.
There you go. So let us know if you fancy taking on.
That's enough. That's enough to make a real difference. So.
All right. Well, stay with me then just for a minute or two more, if you will, to look at the new Advent calendar. The past, what is it? The past is another country, but Portugal is lovely for the fact that it's still in the 1970s in so many ways, especially in terms of family and community. And Pete's wardrobe. I don't know if you've seen him in Fundão with his flares on. It's meant he hasn't had to buy a new wardrobe.
They're back. Flares are back.
That you see, if you wait long enough, Pete was right, wasn't he, to keep all those clothes and to wear.
Well, when we were buying clothes for the kids for Christmas for the grandchildren, because that's really what we do. They've all got too many toys.
Yes,
flares for the young girls. They're back, and I thought, no, I'll dig mine out somewhere. And platform soles.
Seriously, the whole kit.
The whole kit.
That's amazing, because I've always imagined that when people look through, I don't know why we've got weed suddenly. I'm not sure. I mean, in moderation,
that's back in fashion as well.
It really,
if it's ever gone out,
it's a 70s fog, isn't it, of nostalgia that we're talking about. Gatefold albums that I mentioned yesterday, but there must have been quite a few decades now where grandchildren have laughed at the wedding pictures of people, with great big, barnets.
Yeah, my original ones, my first wedding, they were awful.
But you didn't think so at the time, did you?
Oh, of course not.
And now your grandkids might look at them and go, "Wow, you are so stylish, Grandad. That's amazing. Have you still got that shirt and those collars on that suit upstairs?"
Those big, long, round collars. You remember?
Weren't they the best? They were the best. I'm all for the taking that to another level with a bit of frilliness and a cravat or two. So I'm quite glad to see that. I'm glad to see that coming back. Right. So this is what we've been doing this year. It's the meme calendar. Some good hilarity, starting off as we mean to continue in the new year with a few laughs. For the Insomniacs, probably only one sleep now. We're counting down with the Insomniacs, and we've got some great memes, largely thanks to T-Duck here, but we've got a few lovely contributions from other people as well. Oh, and I need to upload day 20, Mrs. M's birthday, of course, today. So let me do that now. And then
do give her my best.
I will do that. Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Right, where did that one go? I got memes everywhere. Okay, that's good. And this one is where a person says they just nearly spit out their coffee. So let's see if that does. Yeah, if you are drinking coffee at the moment, you might want to stop for a moment in case it has the same effect on you. So I am now refreshing the Advent calendar, the homepage of Good Morning Portugal, and we're going to go to a classic now. One more refresh for good luck. There it is. That sign in the United States, the for lease sign, and some wag has written underneath it Navidad. So Feliz Navidad is today's meme. Let me just blow that up a bit, just in case you weren't able to see that and you haven't got your glasses near.
Brilliant.
It is great, that, isn't it? I would love to see that in real life, and I'd be very tempted. Although we don't have that, of course. We're not going to see signs like that here in Portugal with For Lease. But if you do see it, and you can do that for yourself and send us the picture, 913-590-303 is where you can send it. Coach, have a super time with the family on Sunday. Thanks again for everything, and we'll see you when you're throwing some shapes and voguing on the 15th of February with us, right? Oh, look at you.
Love to.
See if you could. Look, I think Mr. S has been on the weed, possibly. He's just managed to utter one word with an apostrophe, so well done.
Well, that's two words, really, isn't it?
It is, but he's quite efficiently put.
Exactly.
There you go. And
well,
see if you can find
everybody have a fantastic festival season, Christmas, New Year, and we'll see you on the other side.
Cheers. Yeah, we will. See you then. All the best to you, boas festas, bom ano novo, and até próxima. Cheers, Coach.
Ciao.
Lots of love to Leslie and the family. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye. There he goes in Hertfordshire. Lovely, crisp, Christmassy day in the UK. They're lovely to chat with the coach there. And Phil wasn't able to join us on tour at the moment, but lots of love to Phil and Lady Kate as well. And don't forget, if you attempted to join their This One Thing program, it starts in January. They may still have places. So lots of love to you as well, Phil. Flair's back in fashion. Aviva, I saw you earlier on, didn't acknowledge you publicly, and picking up on my sex in sexta-feira. I can't believe we're the only community that does that and has noticed that with the Portuguese language. But anyway, we will bear that burden well. Flares back in fashion. I love them, but they just don't fit right inside my wellies. Welsh wear, the wellies right there then. Good morning to you, Jackie. Thanks for being here. They are only proper flares if they are so flammable. They ignite. Some nice crimpline and nylon mix. It was Beethoven who wrote for Elise. Yes, very good. For Elise Navidad. And the great Bairandi, who I want to thank this morning as well. Bom dia, Malta. What a beautiful morning in Bonito, Portugal. And Bairandi has been busy. If we take a look over at the Gumper map in just a moment as well. It was Zé Feliciano, as we can call him here in Portugal, who's saying, Feliz on the dog. Okay. Thank you very much for that, James. I can hear him chuckling in the privacy of his own home there about that one. I can hear, if you listen really carefully, you can hear the James chuckle that we'll hear again for the last time this year on Monday before the big remix for next year. And you won't see Feliz or Navidad in Portugal. That's true. Thanks, Pam, for pointing that out. Right, let's go to that Gumper map then. Bairandi has been busy at the moment. Great to hear your update. Get your message yesterday, Andy. And you have put some. There aren't many things, I don't think, for this coming weekend, but people are very preoccupied. They're probably already figured out with what they're doing this coming weekend. Certainly a busy time in this household, what with a number of significant birthdays in November and then in December and then another one in early January. So we're pretty much figured out for things to do. You very thoughtfully, Andy, have put the a few New Year's Eve events on the Gumper map. So is that showing? Yeah, there you go, Gumper map. Let me put the link to that into the chat as well so people can find that. Add things or be inspired by things on there. So let me just pop that through and the link there. Now, I think this, if I click on it, it does open up into a different page possibly. Yes, it does. So let me just remove that and share the new destination of the website there. A seamless transition right now onto the Gumper map. Here we go. I think we have to do that because it's actually a bit of Google technology that we've seconded there. So there you go. The Gumper map, which you can click through to on the link that's on the screen for you right now. And a few New Year's things to look forward to. Free walks up there. Look, that's amazing. Thank you, Andy, for this. I know you're very busy at the moment and you're keeping us informed of what's going on. Look, you see, this is his manor around here, his yard, and these are all the wonderful things that are going on. If you've ever complained that you don't know what's going on in Portugal and things that never get publicized, you might be the change you're waiting for, and you might want to take it upon yourself to add a few things to the Gumper map here. So I see some other people have as well, and you can put points of interest, you can put events, you can put a sort of, a longer tail things on there, points of interest, restaurants you like. Please add them. And thanks again to Sarah Yerman, who started this off for us. It's actually quite a nice little map of Portugal to take a look at as well. So thanks very much, Andy. Have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana to you, my friend. Any more comments, any more resolutions, anything else you want to talk about as we finish this week, 20th of December? What have we got? We've got Monday the 23rd, Tuesday, Christmas Eve, and we'll be doing a special Christmas Day show from a beach. We will be Life's a Beach for us on Christmas Day. And then we'll be having, live transmission on Christmas Day. And then we'll be having a break from the 26th. Not a holiday here in Portugal. The Portuguese don't recognize Boxing Day in any way that we might, if, for example, we're from the UK. And I think the US as well. I think Canada does Boxing Day, doesn't it? But nothing here. Back to work for many Portuguese people on the 26th, unless they've taken some bridging leave to take them through into the new year. We too will be off on the 26th, 27th. It's a weekend, of course, on the 28th and the 29th. And 30th is the Monday and New Year's Eve is a Tuesday. I haven't decided yet, but we will be back on either the 1st or the 2nd. I suspect maybe the 1st. We'll hit the ground running with our new remix format, and messages about that will be coming out. So we won't be doing any live shows from next Monday, but there will be messages and segments and bits and pieces to keep you informed of what's going on in the new year emerging as well. And while we're talking about the YouTube channel, thank you very much, subscribers. We hit the 2,700 subscriber mark yesterday, and I'm really proud to say it's all organic, natural subscription and growth. I've never paid anyone a penny to try and boost up those figures. So I'm taking it that people who are on there want to be there. And I thank each and every one of you for being there. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do that. It does help, as the Portuguese would say, who made a video about me yesterday, incidentally. You might want to take a look at the Portuguese. Oh, yeah, shout out to a couple of creative gumpers here. The Portuguese, one of his 12 videos that he released yesterday was about responding to me being having mediapathy, which is a word I came up with yesterday. It probably exists already, but I'm losing interest in world events, the so-called news. And I was given that he and I on a Tuesday night do a program, a live stream based entirely on world events. That's a bit awkward, quite frankly. So, I mean, there is something to talk about in that fact alone. That I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to try and find out what's going on in the world. Each time I become aware on X, for example, of something I would have been interested in only a month ago. Oh, click on that. As I go to click on it, I think I don't think I'm really interested or bothered. It doesn't really matter. I can generate a sense of hype and importance inside myself and justify the reason to click that button to find out more. And I think, nah, I'll just put a kettle on. I'm not bothered. I'd much rather be involved in what I was saying to Tony is real life and this community. Connecting with people who who I can really change things with or have an effect with, rather than things that I really have only a kind of rubbernecking connection with. And I see it's a habit and an addiction. So I'm happy to have that, and we'll see how that turns out with me and the Portuguese. Welcome to my world. Is that in not in being interested in what's going on in the news and having media apathy? My New Year's resolution, says James, we'll see you on Monday, James, is to make no New Year's resolutions. Very good. My calendar notes that tomorrow is winter solstice, so happy solstice for the happy solstice for the 21st for tomorrow. There is an IMA story, which is a bit of a Christmas present as well. I'll come back to that in just a moment. Growth and evolution through noticing, choosing, and acting. Muito bem, Carlito, from James there. Thank you for that, mate. Appreciate that. Maybe that's something we can talk about on Monday as well. Thanks to T-Duck for picking up on this. This was something that you sent to me yesterday. And a moment now to just relax a little bit. Feel Good Friday. This is in its own way, I suppose, a Feel Good Friday article in a way. This is IMA, and the consultations have leapt from 800 to, guess what, 6,000. Actually, another news item you sent me was in the week that we tried Pastéis de Belém, Pastel de Natas, here live on the show. They received an award. And I noticed as well, Sarah Davies sent me a nice, we'll have a look at that as well, actually. Sarah sent me a nice news item. We'll have a look at that after the IMA news here. A Portuguese baker makes history as the best baker in the world. How about that? So first of all, then, let's go to IMA over on the Portugal news and see. I mean, that is an extraordinary multiplication, is it not, of appointments there. Let's just close that down and give them the full screen here. IMA consultations leap from 800 to 6,000 per day. I don't know if that's a pattern that they've kept up with. But anyway, the Deputy Secretary of State for the Presidency has announced. That's a great job title, isn't it? The Deputy Secretary of State for the Presidency, I feel like I'm announcing him coming into a ball, has announced that the service capacity of the Agency for Integration, Migrations and Asylum, IMA, increased from 800 services per day to around 6,000 services per day. No comments on the Portugal news. What's going on over there? Why does nobody comment on Portugal news articles anymore? That used to be as much fun as the articles were. Rui Amindo Freitas said that of the 400,000 cases pending at IMA, 150,000 have already been attended to. If you stop and think about that for a moment, that is incredible, is it not? They have slashed that pending case file by 150,000. Other processes, it is known, have entered into the termination notification process because they do not meet some of the requirements necessary to bring the process to an end. Wow. And this is the visible phase of this operation, said the Assistant Secretary of State for the Presidency, him. Rui added that, or Senor Freitas, as I probably should be referring to him as, said, in addition to the visible face of the operation, there is another back office part of processing and deciding these same processes that is also working. What does that mean, Senor Freitas? There are, in mainland Portugal, 24 mission structures of the Agency for Integration, Migrations and Asylum. Wow, okay. Is that the overarching body or organization for IMA? IMA mission structures operate autonomously, but with the support of IMA itself. This is becoming more complicated the more I read about it. The Deputy Secretary explained that the creation of these mission structures has the objective of managing to overcome a problem accumulated in recent years. 400,000 people who did not have a response from the state. That is a problem. What you're seeing here is the capacity that the state created to overcome a problem that was unacceptable and that was occurring in Portugal. There's an article that could have been a paragraph. Anyway, suffice to say, we have leapt from 800 sessions, which wasn't a bad hit rate, was it, to 6,000 per day. So they've really pulled their finger out. They have had an organizational laxative over there at IMA. So keep up the good work. And I wonder, says James, if such great progress at IMA will be appreciated or whether it'll be more complaining as usual. We'll see. That is the year of we'll see, 2025. Good news never gets as much comment as things like to complain and gripe about. So true. As the former assistant editor of Positive News in the UK, I can confirm that absolutely, João Ernesto. And IMA is hiring people. and continue to do so, right, Antonio F? Excellent. Yes, 50 people, says Mr. S. I like your profile pic there. Which Portuguese street are you photographed on there, Mr. S? Right. Well, we can do that, can't we? We can be glad and share the good news about that. And I think progress is being made. And sometimes when you've been moaning about something for a really long time, it's hard to get out of the habit as well. So give yourself a little bit of room to do that if you're in the habit of just being stuck and having I'm a certain way, which I suppose they've only got themselves to blame for that condition. But we can give them a break, and things are going to change, aren't they? We're going to look back in a year's time, and we'll see a very different picture, I'm sure. Right, that baker story. Then Portugal has the best baker in the world. Let's find out a bit more about that, courtesy of Sarah Davy. Great job last night. Happy Christmas to you, Sarah. We'll see you again in the new year. This is the Portuguese baker. Let's find out more. The best baker in the world, in quotes here. Let's find out exactly how. As we work our way towards 10 o'clock this morning, and wish you a bon fin semana. For the first time ever, the distinction of the best baker in the world has been awarded to a woman, and her name is Elizabeth Ferreira, owner of the Pão de Gimonde bakery in Bragança. Nicely done. I would have guessed a Lisboeta, but Bragança. In a statement, the company explains that it's not just a personal victory, but a milestone for Portugal and for global baking. Now, I read that as global banking the first time I had a quick look at this news item. Throughout her career, Elizabeth has inspired new generations. I imagine bankers are quite happy. Her personal bankers are quite happy, I suspect, with this increased potential for cash flow. Throughout her career, Elizabeth has inspired new generations, especially women, to follow their dreams and raise the standards of the baking industry with dedication and professionalism, it's said. At 46 years old, the distinction awarded by the International Union of Bakery and Pastry, who knew? The UIBC comes due to her contribution to the industry and the preservation of traditional processes and techniques. I want to know what her specialty is. The winner is the third generation of a family linked to the sector, but her vision goes beyond bread production. She is president of the Club Richemont Portugal, where she shares her experience and knowledge. Excuse me. Oh, I think I might have got up a bit too early this morning and shouting at my kitchen staff. For Elizabeth Ferreira, this is a victory. Oh, I need a bit of water. Ah, very nice. And a brandy. For Elizabeth Ferreira, this is a victory that reflects her contribution to the sector, elevating the role of women in baking, rising like a good sponge. What is that picture there? Would you want to have a quick look? Long John vest combo there. I can honestly say to you, here are the comments. I'm not going to read that one out, Nick, you miserable git. What a great achievement. If she's comfortable doing it, there should be a media blitz about this. Hundreds of girls and boys may try to carry on her work. But what they failed to do, if I may say so, in the Portugal news, is tell us a little bit more about her. People make the news, don't they? I want to know more about her. We will do that. I wonder if she's available to chat with us. Let's see if we can get her onto the show in the new year. I want to know what her particular baking speciality is, and a little more about this club, Richemont, as well. So I don't know what that is, but I imagine it's some sort of inspirational motivate. Oh, okay, here we go. That's better on the screen there. Let me just take that off. I've clicked through to the Richemont Club, and a bit more pastry action, I'm glad to say. So let me just show you that as a final gift, pre-Christmas gift this morning, as we conclude another week's broadcasting here on the Good Morning Portugal show, where we celebrated 2,700 subscribers on YouTube. And not forgetting, we have a lot of people who watch it on Facebook as well. Now, that looks good. So perhaps we will talk to her and find out more about, is it a baking club? I wonder. But yes, I would, wouldn't you? Looking at that on the screen right there. So, actually, you didn't get to see it, did you? There you go. Club Richemont, Portugal. We need to find out more about that. And they missed a chance there. Ferreira, you still have to train your Portuguese. My Ferreira and my Richemont. Okay, I'll put myself in for a rolling R's workshop, which is different. Yeah, okay. Best baker to add to best baby cheeses Will there be anything Portugal hasn't won? It has been a good year in many ways, isn't it? Haha, Antonio F. The roll versus the growl. Oh, no rolling of the R. Everyone's a critic suddenly. You say Ferreira. I think I did it justice there. Anyway, bon fi semana. No R's to worry about in the phrase bon fi semana. Have a good one. Not sure what you're up to this weekend. I imagine in this sort of pre-Christmas time, many minutes and many hours of each day are carefully allotted to the pre-Christmas effort. So whatever you're doing to get ready for Christmas, all the best with that. And we will see you on Monday. And I do wish you a bon fin semana. It's like the French guttural. Okay, I need examples. Send me a voice message on 913-590-303 instead of heckling me from the sidelines there, from the peanut gallery. Send me voice notes, 913-590-303. I love it when Antonio does that. The Good Morning Portugal show. Here we go. Here we see the carro, and the carro. They must sound different. Thank you. An example there. No, I will not be trying that, Mr. S. And thank you, T-Duck. Bon fi semana to you too. See you soon, mate. All the best. You've all done very well. Here's a nice big round of applause. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.